Hi guys, it's Dom here from Sounds for Magazine and Gimme a Hull Yeah. Welcome back to the Wrestling Kitchen. I did a great interview with Isla Dawn from NXT UK earlier on today. We talked about music, inspirations and everything. It was fantastic, and I just want to say a huge thank you to the NXT UK team for letting us do that. Hope you enjoyed the interview, and we'll see you again really soon. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
Going?
How are you?
Good. Yeah, really good. Thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me.
Cool. And how have you been? How have you been coping? Obviously, it's a weird time to be alive at the moment. How's everything been for you? You had your first match back for a while recently.
We did. It's good to be back wrestling again. That's been out of everything in quarantine and lockdown. I was just desperate to get back in the ring and desperate to train again. Like desperate just back into the swing at NXT UK. So now we're back up and running again and back in the PC. We're getting to go to the BT Sports studio. Like it's just been all systems go, but it's just been fantastic. Like I couldn't ask for anything better.
Absolutely. And how have you been staying motivated? What have you been doing? Because obviously you've got other interests outside of wrestling and stuff. But so how are you? How have you been staying motivated?
There had to be a lot of like forcing myself to be motivated when gyms were closed and everything was shut. I was having to like do workouts in my back garden and like trying to like motivate myself through that while like everybody in my house is just like I'm watching TV and I'm like, right, I need to go out, and it's in Scotland, it's raining half the time, so I'm like, right, I need to go like squat these, like I managed to get a hold of like some different dumbbells, so I was like, right, I'm going to go and do like squats with these in my back garden. My mum's like, do you want a cup of tea?
Oh, bless.
So it's been a lot of like forcing myself to be motivated, but the end goal was always just, we're going to be back at NXT soon, we're going to be back on TV, so we just need to keep going and stay whatever's happening. We just need to keep working.
Of course, and now you're back on NXT UK. Now TV is back again. How have you kind of had some time to reflect on how you've changed and developed as a performer through your career? Because obviously you've been in the Mae Young Classic, you've competed on Raw, you've done all this stuff. How have you changed and developed as a performer during your time with WWE and NXT UK?
It's been wild. I feel like the actual time away helped develop me even more. Because it's always been like I had my first kind of involvement with WWE and being on Raw and stuff like that, and then I quite quickly joined NXT UK, and it was very fast paced, and it's been constant since that point.
Yeah.
And I think in lockdown as well, I managed to like sit back, reassess, reevaluate how I've changed, whether it's been for the better or for the worse, and how to now change from this point onwards. So how to go into this new start as it is, like and just really focus more on me, focus more on trying to get to where I want to be within WWE, and just it's gave me that a kind of new lease of life as to how I look at myself in WWE.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, again, looking at you've traveled the world. You're in a few now with Piper Niven. You're getting yourself back in the mix of things in NXT UK. What are some of your goals for the future? Obviously, what do you want to achieve? I don't want to do the sort of cheesy 5-year plan thing because you can't put a time on it. But what do you want to achieve in sort of the next few years?
Well, obviously, like I think everybody will always be like, "Oh, the WrestleMania dream," like that's
of course
the big goals. But for me, at the moment, my focus is on NXT UK completely, and getting the women's championship. Like whether we've got Kaylee Ray, who's like such a great champion at the minute, but whether she's got it or whoever else takes it from her, my goal is to ultimately be holding that championship. So that is the goal. Everything is focused on that one thing.
Absolutely. And you've talked in previous interviews about how supportive your family are, and how you've kind of, you've been able to have motivation from your family, which I think is lovely. And I wanted to ask you a bit more about sort of specific people and places that motivate you, again, outside of wrestling, things that sort of drive you when you're not necessarily, when you need some motivation. Are there any specific people and places that you sort of rely on and draw motivation from?
I think my mum's definitely one of them. My mum, my entire life, whether it was when I was doing dancing at 5 or trying to I was going to study acting, like my mum's always been my biggest supporter, and she like committed her whole life to me and my 3 sisters, like 100%. Everything she did, from having my older sister, everything in her life was focused on providing for us and giving us like the best opportunity, like making herself skint, taking us all to dance classes, making herself like skint, putting me into acting, worrying about me, like she'd be sitting stressing watching me wrestle, like worried I'm gonna get hurt, but she'd be in the crowd supporting every single time. So she is one of the main people that I like aspire to make proud, and like really put all the effort that she's into giving me as much as she has. I want to like show that it was all worth something, that it wasn't all in vain.
Absolutely, absolutely. I also wanted to ask you about sort of some tips for young people. So we work with a lot of young women who have a lot of body confidence issues, and they're struggling with a sort of self-image. Now, your character is obviously very strong and sort of very empowered in various ways. And I wanted to ask you sort of for tips for people that might be inspired by your work on NXT, or they might be wanting to become a wrestler, a performer, a dancer. Obviously, you have background in kickboxing, for example, as well. What advice and tips have you got for anybody that's maybe struggling with a little bit of self-image, mental health, who wants to kind of follow in your footsteps and achieve as you've been able to achieve?
Well, I would like to think that I am kind of an example of not even overcoming a lot of those things, but like standing with whether it's whatever issues of body, mental health and stuff like that, that you don't have to not have those things, and you don't have to like conquer those things to pursue something and to achieve something. It's being happy with who you are and being comfortable, and trying to work through things, trying to always evolve and help yourself heal and recover and feel better and stuff, but also being comfortable when you can and still being able to just keep being you. Like if you're struggling, if whatever it is that you're going through, maybe you can't cure yourself of whatever it is that you're feeling, but you can still go out, you can still perform, strive to be the best, even if you've got that like if it's hanging over your head a wee bit. But it's embracing it and living with it, rather than feeling like you need to try and get rid of it, or you need to try and like not make it a part of you.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 more questions now then, because again, another question we get asked by a lot of young people is they look at success a certain way. They think, oh, I'm never going to get to the heights of Isla Dawn. I'm never going to work for WWE. I'm never going to work in the wrestling industry, for example. And I wanted to ask you, how do you define success as a person? What does it mean to you?
Success for me is happiness, 100%. I've been at points where I've been like doing well and and having like a good income coming in, but I wasn't happy, and that for me, I wasn't being successful. But now, like, I might not be at the moment NXT UK Women's Champion, I might not be main event in the shows, but I'm so happy and fulfilled in everything that I'm doing, and that for me is success. Like, that's for me. I feel like my most successful because I'm thoroughly enjoying every single thing that I do with NXT UK and WWE.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you a music question, because obviously you wrestled at Download Festival, and we do a lot of work in music in our sort of our day-to-day stuff. What kind of music are you into at the moment? Are you listening to anything at the particular? And obviously, you know, again, have you got any good memories of performing with NXT UK and WWE at Download?
Yeah, I have a really eclectic taste of music, in the sense that it goes from like really like busted from 2005,
nice.
Then back to like I love Fleetwood Mac and Kate Bush. They're two of my idols in every aspect of the world. Like, I love them. But also Mark Bolan and T-Rex.
Oh, class, yeah.
That's my mum's influence. My mum brought me up on T-Rex, Bowie, Adaman. So like they're my like main kind of thing. Blondie, I love Blondie.
Oh, amazing.
It goes from like really like 12-year-olds music to like stuff from the 70s. But yeah, music is a big thing for me. Like, it's one of, especially with Kate Bush and Fleetwood Mac, they are people that I'll listen to before a match, people that I'll listen to when I'm trying to like get myself focused, and if I'm trying to come up with new ideas or trying to get some inspiration. Like, they are people that I draw from a lot. They've influenced a lot of my character work. They've influenced a lot of what we were saying about like self-development and kind of like being strong in yourself. Like, Kate Bush and Stevie Nicks are like two of the people that I look up to for that, because they're very strong women who are, they've got all their strength and independence and so much talent, but they're women, they're feminine, they've got every kind of encompassment. They're very unashamedly feminine, but while being just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you had a chance to see any of those artists live?
I did. I think I had like the best like 16 month of my life, because I seen Fleetwood Mac, Kate Bush, and Prince all within like that stage. So I travelled down to London to see Kate Bush. I was actually supposed to go to the Fleetwood Mac concert last year, but it clashed with Download.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, oh, I'm so gutted, but also it's a really good thing, but I'm also gutted.
Yeah.
I kept like praying. I was like, maybe they'll turn up at Download. Like they're in the UK, they could go.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I say, I'm sure it'll happen at some point down the road for you. Absolutely. Last question today as well. But thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen today, Isla, as well.
No, thank you so much.
Do you have a message? Because obviously you're back on TV now, back at it. Do you have a message for your supporters that are part of the WWE universe at the moment?
Yeah, I just want to thank them for sticking through everything that's going on. Thank them for all the support, hoping that everybody's safe and happy within all this, and just I can't wait till we can get crowds back in and we can get to meet fans again. Just everybody, I can't wait to feel that like energy back from the fans and crowds.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure catching up with you. And I obviously look forward to catching up with your progress going forward as well.
Very much.